that down, let's go on and talk about this, shall we? There's a couple of potentially very big movies coming on the horizon, on that line where the sky meets the sea. Of course, we got Gladiator. That's coming. We've got, I almost said Bewitched. Wicked. Which, guys, I'm telling you, I've been telling you for 2 years, you're sleeping on this movie. If you don't think it's going to be huge, it's going to be huge. But also Moana 2. Moana 2 is coming. A very popular movie, Moana, that made a bunch of money when it first came out, but it just has grown in its popularity. So much so that in 2023, 7 years after the movie came out, 6-7 years after the movie came out, in 2023, the number one streamed movie of the year was not Avatar, was not a Marvel movie. Nope. The number one streamed movie of the year was the 6 or 7 year old Moana. And I unabashedly love this film. So Moana 2 is coming. And now there are industry insiders who are saying this is going to be the biggest film of the year. The one who said it, AMC theater head, CEO Aron, who again I think is a moron, but that's just me. But he made some comments about this because he's talking to the studio people and they're saying, and remember, all these guys care about is box office. That's all they care about, the theaters. They want people coming in. And this is what Aron said. This comes to us from Deadline. He said, some people in the know, talking about his studio contacts, obviously, are telling me that Moana 2 could eclipse and outshine even the success of Inside Out 2. He beamed. And of course, Inside Out 2 is currently the highest grossing box office movie of the year. Just in North America, it's made $652 million. I think overall, what's it made? Like 1.5, 1.6 billion. Yeah, it's either 1.5 or 1.6 billion that Inside Out 2 is made. It's the number one box office movie of the year. The Pixar sequel opened to 154.2 million.
Almost 1.7.
Almost 1.7. So the high 1.6s. The second highest opening of the year, only behind Disney's own Deadpool and Wolverine from Marvel Studios, that opened with $211 million in its opening weekend. I think this is possible. Now, I mean, I wouldn't bet $1,000 of it becoming a $1 billion film, but I would probably bet $100. And after it crosses that $1 billion mark, who knows how high it can go. If it's good. See, and that was the secret of Inside Out 2, right? Like, it obviously had a massive opening weekend with 154 million, but what kept it going, what got it across the $1 billion mark, and then what ultimately got it over the $1.6 billion mark was the fact that the movie was great. Mm-hmm. And people kept going, and the word of mouth spread, and people started bringing their friends. Can Moana 2 do that? It's going to open big. It's going to open really big. And it's going to make a lot of money overall. But the question is, when it comes into the discussion about how big, that'll all depend on how good the movie is. And right now, I have no concept of how good or bad the movie is. I haven't talked to anybody that's seen it. I have clearly not seen it. I mean, I saw the preview they gave us for it at CinemaCon, right. But, you know, I just don't know. Maybe it'll be better than the original. Maybe it won't. But I'll tell you what, I am very, very excited.
Do you see it as being the number one competitor towards Inside Out 2, or do you think Wicked has that still? What do you think?
I honestly think, like, here's the funny thing about Wicked. I think Wicked could easily make a lot of money at, say, 700 million. But I also would not be, like, if a time traveler, Ray,
right,
got on Dwayne Johnson's Red Santa sleigh
mm-hmm.
and came back right now and said, John, Wicked made 1.5 billion. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, me either.
Like, if that time traveler told me that it made 700 million, I wouldn't be surprised.
He'd be like, that was the biggest waste of time travel in my life. You're not even surprised.
I could have done anything.
Yeah.
But I decided to come back and tell you how much Wicked made.
I became a level 4 naughty lister to tell you that. You're not even surprised.
But so, yeah, if they told me it made 700 million, I wouldn't be surprised. If they told me it made 1.5 billion, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I think Wicked is going to be huge. But like Moana 2, I think how big is also very much going to depend on how good it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Wicked, and by the way, it's starting to look like Gladiator 2 might be bigger than we were anticipating.
Don't forget about Mufasa.
God, we haven't even talked about Mufasa.
That could be a sleeper hit too.
That could also
That's
be a
no
sleeper
sleeper hit. That's gonna be big. That
I mean-
music is pretty powerful.
I mean, when it comes to Inside Out 2, it
Oh,
could be
yeah.
one of those contenders that we didn't expect would actually get that high.
Yeah. If the music hits in Moana 2, you're gonna get a lot of word of mouth and maybe repeat viewers.
It's been a good year for animation. Well, some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, it is feasible. It is possible. Talking about Inside Out 2, talking about Moana 2, and talking about Mufasa, it's conceivable that all three of the top 3 box office films of the year could be animated films. That's how good of a year. And I would put money that the top 2 films of the year are going to be animated. Right? So I definitely think Inside Out's going to be one of the top 2. I think Moana is going to be one of, whether it catches Inside Out 2, I think it could be a number. And then depending on how good or bad Mufasa does, because remember the last time they did this, it was The Lion King. That was $1 billion film.
Right.
So I feel very comfortable saying there's a high probability that 3 of the top 5 box office movies of the year will be animated. And I think there's a chance that all top 3 could end up being the top 3 box office films of the year, could all be animated. I mean, what a year for animation that could end up being. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Life 360 Tile Trackers. With the holidays right around the corner, it's all about family, fun, and of course, keeping track of everything while traveling or hosting. For me, that's where Life 360's Tile Trackers are an absolute lifesaver. These little things help keep the holiday stress in check. Whether I'm tracking my keys, wallet, or even our luggage when we travel, Tile Trackers make it easy to keep tabs on everything important. Just open the Tile app to ring it when it's nearby, or track down its location on the map if it's a bit farther. I had mentioned this one time I went to a poker tournament in Vegas, and I keep everything, my wallet, my tablet, and stuff like that, in this satchel backpack of mine, and I thought I lost it. I went crazy for hours until I finally realized I had left it in the car. If I had had Tile Tracker, it would have made my life a lot simpler. And here's one of the things I love about Tile. Tile syncs with Life 360, so I can see the location of my family members and all of our tiled items in one spot. So make your holidays a little less stressful and family-proof your season with Life 360's Tile Trackers. Visit tile.com and use the code Campea to get 15% off. That's tile.com. Use the code Campea. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Some theater heads and studio insiders are saying, listen, Moana 2, there's a chance it passes Inside Out 2. We could be talking about a $1.7 billion film. Or maybe it doesn't if the movie's not so good. Whatever you think is going to happen, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.